This is the way. Hello everyone, and today I'm taking a look at The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian was a TV show on Disney Plus that recently came out, and at the time I'm recording this, the first season has just finished. I wanted to wait till season 1 was finished before reviewing it, and now that it's finally done, what are my thoughts on the show? Well, first off, I just want to say one thing I do really like about this show, the setting. I do like how it takes place in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, because this show takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and I really like this idea because usually when there's a TV show or video game in the Star Wars universe, usually they want to focus on the stuff that happens in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, with stuff like, say, the Clone Wars cartoons, or mostly they want to focus on what happens between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, with stuff like Rogue One, Solo, Rebels, and Jedi Fallen Order, and plenty other things, and it's kind of refreshing, and I really like this idea. Another thing that really got my attention about the show was that it was going to be focusing around a Mandalorian bounty hunter, which I thought was really cool, because I thought it's a cool idea to show more of the bounty hunter world, and yeah, and also the fact that Dave Filoni was going to be one of the executive producers of the show, and seeing how he did a really good job with shows like Star Wars The Clone Wars, and did a pretty good job with Star Wars Rebels, that got me excited, and now that I finally finished the season finale, I can safely say, this is a pretty good show. But let's talk about the plot of the show first. The plot is that it takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi, and it focuses around a Mandalorian bounty hunter named Mandalorian, or as some people call him, Mando for short. One day, he is asked by his employer to take a job, and it is worth a lot of credits, which is basically money in the universe, and he goes to receive the package in order to give to his employer, but unfortunately, he finds himself in an all-out gunfight and manages to survive the fight, and finds the package, but it's revealed it's a Baby Yoda. They don't have a species name, so people on the internet just call it Baby Yoda, and it's so adorable. And he's all like, okay, why do they want me to find a child? And in episode 3, when he finally gets back, he's all like, no, I don't trust these guys. And he takes the baby and runs off and tries to basically hide, because the employer's all like, send everyone you got after him and make sure to get him dead or alive. And he's basically trying to hide away to find a perfect place for him and the child to live. Now, that being said, I won't go into spoilers for episode 7 and 8, because, yeah, that's where a lot of spoiler things happen. So I'll just talk about what I thought about the show. This is a really good show. I love the tone it is. Even though it is dark, there are a lot of comedic moments, which I think works. And also, I do really like Mando as a character, because at first I'm like, okay, how can they make this work? Because you have a guy who never shows his face, because in the show they say a Mandalorian can never reveal his helmet or take off the helmet, which got me a little bit confused, because in the Clone Wars cartoon and Rebels, Bo-Katan, a Mandalorian, was able to take off her helmet just fine, so why can't Mando? And yeah, but they managed to make Mando a pretty cool character. You really feel like he's a really interesting character. He's very good at interactions, and I love his interactions with other characters, with this girl bounty hunter, which was cool. And also there is a lot of comedic moments with him, which works. And yeah, there's a lot of mystery behind him. They even have flashbacks every now and then to his past, where his parents were murdered in the Siege of Mandalore, which is a cool idea, and I really like how they did it. And yeah, I really felt bad for Mando. He just isn't just a normal Mandalorian who wants to do the right thing. And even though by the trailers they were showing him off as like this ultimate awesome guy who was like unbeatable, but in the show there are a lot of moments where he has trouble. He has a lot of moments where he's like pinned down, like in episode 3 when he tries to receive the child. Now there is a part in episode 3 where when they find out he took the child, the guy who plays his employer sends out a bounty on Mando to kill him or take him back alive with the child. And I do like, and it reminds me a lot of how in John Wick Chapter 2, how the bad guy also sends a bounty out on John Wick, and it plays out in a similar way, where like all these guys are getting like messages saying Mando has a bounty on his head, sort of like how in John Wick Chapter 2, all the assassins have like a bounty, get like a call saying that John Wick's on the trail, like John Wick's up for money. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And there's a part where like he's fighting all these guys and he's pinned down hard. He is just like, there was no escape for me to go. And yeah, and also I love Baby Yoda. He's adorable, so cute. And yeah, Baby Yoda is now officially the cutest thing in Star Wars history. And there are some other characters I really do like Cara Dune, who's a female bounty hunter, which I think she's pretty cool. IG-11, who is pretty funny a lot of the time, and is voiced by Taika Waititi, and yeah, he's funny in the show. And also, there's Mando's employer, who's played by Apollo Creed from the Rocky movies, so I'm just waiting for Sylvester Stallone to show up. I'm sorry, just my brain goes to weird places sometimes, but still. And of course, since you've seen from the trailers, Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad does play a character in the show named Moff Gideon, who is a bad guy, and I must say, he is pretty intimidating, and the person who plays Moff Gideon, Gustavo Fring, does a fantastic job as always. He brings a lot of charm and kind of intenseness to the scenes he is in, and yeah. And also, one thing I want to talk about is the action of the show is pretty good. There's a lot of gunfights, which I really like. I'm really a fan of how they do like ground battle action. I do like some flying battle, but I mostly prefer the ground battles. And there's a lot of shootouts that are really cool, like in the first episode and in episode 3. And in episode 4, there's one with an AT-AT walker, which was awesome. Now, in terms of the episodes themselves, a lot of them are good, but there's 2 exceptions. Episodes 5 and episode 6, or chapters as they're called. Chapter 5 and 6 aren't bad, they're just mediocre. They're pretty much filler, all things considered. You can just go and watch episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, skip them, and go to 7 and 8, and you wouldn't change a thing. I'm not joking. Though they do have some good moments, like how in episode 5, Mando says, "We can't do anything, she has the high ground," and that brought a smile to my face. I was just waiting for the guy Mando was with to say, "She underestimates our power." And in episode 6, there's a part where they reference Canto Bite in the first few minutes of it, which I thought was really cool. And also in episode 1, they reference Life Day with one of the guys Mando was sent to get, saying, "I wish I could have been there for Life Day with my family this year, but I guess I won't." And this makes me question, okay, since they now canonize Life Day, and in Solo, Chewie had a family, does that make the holiday special canon? Because if so, please don't, Disney. I don't want the worst thing to come out of Star Wars be canon to this franchise. But still. And also, there is a lot of moments that are genuinely touching, especially between Mando and the Baby Yoda. And yeah, it's really cute. And overall, this show was actually really fun to watch. I had a blast with it. There's not much I can go into without talking about major spoilers, but I absolutely had a blast with The Mandalorian. It is a fantastic show. It is easily the best show on Disney Plus, which isn't saying much since some of the other stuff is kind of eh. But still, if you were a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend you watch this show. It is fantastic with great acting, great special effects. Yeah, for a TV show, the special effects and practical effects look fantastic. And yeah, I must say, this is a really good show, and I highly recommend you watch it. I'm going to give The Mandalorian a 9 out of 10. I had to dock off a point mainly for chapters 5 and 6, but still. And also, in chapter 6, we have a cameo from Dave Filoni where he plays an X-Wing pilot, which is awesome. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you thought of The Mandalorian, and make sure to like and subscribe for future videos. And join me next time as we end off Star Wars month with a ranking of all 12 of the canon films. So yeah, this is the last review of Star Wars month, and I'm so glad the last review went out with a bang. So see you all later with my ranking of all 12 Star Wars movies. See you all later, and bye.